the attendance tonight was 18,471. It was a sellout. 8 of 8 pay-per-view sellouts this year ever since we brought fans back. Fight of the night was Munoz and Cruz. Performance of the night is Silva, Tayavasa, Kai Kara, Pena, O'Malley, and Oliveira.
That's all?
Giving out some fucking money tonight.
Well, I guess that kind of indicates your thoughts on the fight card tonight as a whole, right? I mean, look good on paper.
I mean, in every way that an event could be a home run and be successful, this was. It was an incredible night. The fights were amazing. You know, huge upsets. The first round of the main event, I mean, those two didn't feel each other out. They didn't do anything. They came right out and just started going. You know, the first round was incredibly fun. The whole fight was incredible, and it was an amazing night.
I want to get your thoughts on Charles Oliveira as the champion, right? I mean, I guess if there was any question whether he was deserving, he answered it tonight, and especially, you know, with the story that it's always been that he can't get tested. He doesn't have heart. It seems like he answered any of that tonight.
Yeah, I never heard any of that stuff, but you got to stay off the fucking internet.
That's how I make my living, sir.
Yeah, you know, I always thought he was a tough guy. He's had some, you know, some bumps along the way. Same thing with Poirier, but like I said at the press conference the other day, they're two blue-collar, hard-working guys that have grinded their way to the top. Yeah, I mean, he went in tonight and beat Dustin, and Dustin is, you know, a very, very tough, durable, well-rounded guy who has had a ton of experience, and, you know, it was a big night for him, for Oliveira.
Have you had a chance to speak to Dustin at all yet, and you know, an idea of where he might go from here? Obviously, this is a tough break for him.
No, I mean, we talked after the fight, like up in the octagon for a second. I just saw him outside when I was walking out here, but, you know, there's nothing to talk about right now. He needs to go home, relax, enjoy some time with his family, enjoy the holidays, and, you know, when he heals up and all the bullshit blows over, we'll figure out what's next for him. There's no rush. We don't have to decide anything tonight.
I know you don't normally like to say, you know, who's the #1 contender, but you said coming in like, hey, Justin Gaethje's definitely next. So as we sit here, Justin Gaethje definitely next.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I know it's kind of out of your hands, but Brazil is a possibility. I mean, obviously we know what's going on in the world, but do you have any indication if 2022, like, it might be possible for Charles to defend his belt against Gaethje down there?
I have no idea what's possible in 2022. I don't give a shit. I could care less.
Nice.
Texas, Florida, Apex. Florida, Texas, Apex. Abu Dhabi, Florida, Texas, Apex.
Scheduled
I
up.
don't give a shit if anything opens again. Whatever. I don't care. I'm not even thinking about it. I could care less.
All right. I did want to ask you about the co-main event. Obviously, a shocking result there. Julianna Pena, somebody that's, you know, been a thorn in your side to get her title shot. She delivered tonight. What did you think of her performance tonight?
Yeah, you know, Julianna is a person who always believed in herself and believed that she could win this fight if she got it. And I mean, you heard it at the press conference. You heard it the months leading up to this fight. She did it. She did it tonight. It's one of the great things about the sport. It's what makes the sport so incredible. When somebody's that big of an underdog and nobody, I mean, how many times have we been at these events where when the fight's over, everybody's looking at each other like, holy shit. I mean, it happens all the time here. It is literally what makes this sport so incredible.
There were a lot of questions coming in about Amanda, like how much longer she wants to keep doing this. You know, maybe it's her family life, kind of the way she wants to go. Did you get a chance to speak to her and see if, you know, she's considering it all, you know, hanging it up, or if she wants to come back and get it?
Listen, it goes right along with all the storylines. You know, she's been on top forever, regardless of what you think. She's made shitloads of money. She has a lot of money, and you know, she has a baby now, family. These things change it.
Yeah. If she wants a rematch, do you think she is deserving, given how long she was on top?
Yes.
Last thing for me, I just want to ask you about Sean O'Malley. Another fantastic performance. I mean, you know, he's kind of laughing about being the unranked champ and all that. I imagine he's probably going to have a ranking now, but you said coming in, we're not sure if he's ready for the top guys yet. Did he show you tonight that he's ready for the top guys?
The guy he beat tonight is a real guy, a very real guy. He did it in spectacular fashion. You know, and I know, you know, when you talk to him, two things: he wants to get paid, and he wants to fight higher, higher level competition. So we're gonna have to pay him, get him some fights. Yeah.
Dana, in the middle of here. Just want to get your thoughts on Dominic Cruz's performance. You know, had a rough first round there, almost got knocked out, but came back and looked great. What do you think?
I agree. He won fight of the night tonight. Yeah, you know, Dominic Cruz still has it, man. It's impressive.
And earlier in the night, Erin Blanchfield had a dominant win against Miranda Maverick. You know, young star in the making, it looks like. What do you make of her performance?
Yeah, listen, anybody you ask me about on this card tonight, I'm going to praise. Tonight's card was amazing. It was an incredible night of fights. You know, it was huge. Pay-per-view was huge. The gate was $8 million, the biggest non-Conor McGregor gate ever at T-Mobile.
And Kayla Harrison was in the crowd. Does Amanda Nunes losing, does that kind of change anything in terms of bringing her in?
Yeah, these are those things, man. For like a Kayla Harrison, the Amanda Nunes fight was huge. I mean, if they would have faced off, it would have been a massive, you know, mega $1 million fight. I know the dipshit there. What's his name? The dipshit that thinks he knows about this business. Darren Ravel, yeah. Dipshit Darren Ravel said that Amanda Nunes, you know, we were screwed. She could never be a star and all these other things. Let me tell you what, if Amanda Nunes had won tonight, the Kayla Harrison fight would be one of the biggest fights that you would have ever seen. You know? Stay out of our business, dipshit. You know nothing.
I just want to get a little update on somebody else in the bantamweight division, but Jermaine Durandamy was recently taken out of the rankings. She's still on the roster, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like it's my place to say why. We'll leave that up to her. Somebody can ask her why she's out of the rankings and what she's going to do.
Thanks,
It's
Dana.
not my place. It's hers. It's personal stuff. It's not.
Dana, just to ask you, Adesanya put a tweet out in response to UFC saying that the fight was on with Whitaker. He put a cap out, you know, meaning a lie. So
He said what?
he put a cap, icon of a cap, you know, an avatar like a cap, meaning a lie. He said it was a lie.
It means you're lying in the millennial.
I had asked somebody what it
I'm
meant.
confused.
Adesanya's
He put out a tweet
basically
saying
saying
that
the fight's not on. He's
No.
saying the fight is not on with Whitaker.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Hey, Hunter, do we have a signed deal with Adesanya for Whitaker?
He's still under contract. We're working on a new deal. He's under contract for
No,
No.
Hunter.
Do we have a signed contract for him to fight Whitaker?
Yes.
He signed the contract? Adesanya signed it? Because he said it was a lie tonight on Twitter.
Are you asking about that agreement?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. We have in writing that he is committed to fight with him.
Okay, so he put on it that it was a lie.
Listen, you don't want to fight Whitaker. Okay, then I guess we'll find another fight.
Okay.
Who gives a shit?
I guess not you.
Who gives a shit? I definitely don't give a shit. You don't want the Whitaker fight to be on? Okay, then find something else. Why would we lie? When have we ever fucking lied? This fight's coming up. Have we lied about it?
I didn't say you lied. He
20
said,
fucking years have we ever lied about, making a fight? Some fights are harder to make than others, but, I don't think we've ever lied about making a fight. Why would we lie about that fight?
again, I didn't say you lied. He said you lied. I asked you about it.
Got it.
I just want to ask you also about Julianna. And when you watched the first round, if I would have told you at the, a couple minutes later after we froze that first round that Julianna was going to win that fight, would you have believed that?
Say that again?
At the end,
My head's still all fucked up from Adesanya.
I'm fucking you up all night tonight here. At the end of the first round, if I had said to you, Peña's going to win this fight, would you have believed it?
Well, yes, I mean, I think that anything is possible. I mean, we've seen it so many times. Anything is possible in this sport.
What do you make of her, confidence and where did that come from? Because you look at it, she hadn't even won back-to-back fights in about 4 years, right? I mean, so where does that confidence come from in a person?
I had my kids in some jiu-jitsu tournament when they were little. And the first time that I ever met Julianna Pena, she walked up to me and introduced herself and told me who she was. And she said, I'm going to fight for you someday and I'm going to be a world champion when I met her. So she's always been like that, you know, and yeah, she did it, man. She did it in spectacular fashion.
Dana, what do you do with Cody Garbrandt now? He drops to flyweight, hoping to find some new life, and then he gets another brutal first-round knockout loss.
What do I think about it?
What do you do with Cody moving forward now?
I don't know. That's a good question. You know, you move down a weight class and get knocked out down a weight class. Yeah, it's a rough one.
Finally,
You know, and he's been clipped a few times now, and you start, you know.
Kai was in here and said, I'm not going to fight again until it's for a title shot. He's calling for the winner of Brandon Moreno and Figueiredo.
Who said that?
Kai, the guy, Kai Carver.
He's not fighting again until he gets a title shot?
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Hey, Dana, right here. I want to touch back on Kayla Harrison. Notably, she was shouted out on the broadcast. You are talking very glowingly. When we spoke to her at MMA Awards, she said she's still a free agent. Would you say that that might be changing soon?
That she's a free agent?
Yeah. Is the UFC, is the way you're talking and shouting her out, is the UFC making a more serious play to sign Kayla Harrison?
Yeah. I mean, I said it last week that we were talking, and then she said it this week that we were talking. We're talking.
I want to ask about the prelims with Julian Robertson. Priscilla Cachoeira it looked like she gouged her eye when she was trying to get out of
I
the rear
didn't know
naked
that.
choke.
Ioli told me that. I didn't know. I didn't see it. Saw a picture, but I got it all from Ioli. I didn't see that.
So no decision will be made until you guys review that internally?
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know anything about it, except for what Kevin told me.
Just want to touch on real quick, you're obviously going to Anaheim next month. The UFC does have the Crypto.com sponsorship, Staples Center, Los Angeles. I'm going to just say my city. You know, is the UFC planning to come to LA specifically soon?
I don't know. There's nothing in the works right now.
I hope so. Thank you.
Dana over here. To your
Hi.
Hey there. So this is the second year that the company has had to navigate through COVID restrictions around the world. Two questions. One, what went better for you this year in terms of kind of managing the restrictions around the world? And the second part of the question is, how much will Apex continue to play as part of the venue strategy going forward?
Yeah, I didn't hear the first one. What was the
Yeah,
first
the
question?
first one was how much easier was it for the company to kind of navigate all of the COVID restrictions this year as opposed to the first year when it happened?
Oh, it was much easier. Obviously, there were many more places open, and including New York, that I thought would be impossible at one point. But yes, the Apex will still be used a lot as places open up that are, fan-friendly, fighter-friendly, UFC-friendly, however you want to call it. We will do fight nights and pay-per-views there. And if not, we'll stay in the Apex. Like I said when I started this thing, we can do Texas, Florida, Abu Dhabi, and Vegas. I'm fine with that. We had an incredible year this year. It was amazing. We can do this forever if we have to.
Dana here in the back. So in the main event, during the broadcast, Joe Rogan mentioned that it looked like for a moment that Charles Oliveira was digging his fingers into Dustin Poirier's gloves, and I was wondering if that was something that you were made aware of, and if so, what's your thought on it?
I don't know anything about that either.
If that were the case, would that sort of change the way you view the fight?
That he was digging his fingers in his gloves?
Yeah, that
well,
he
that's
was...
something the ref would handle in there and
You would
take care
think.
of. Yeah. That's
And,
got nothing to do with me.
All right, fair enough. And as mentioned, huge upset in the co-main event. There have been some monumental upsets before. GSP met Sarah, Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm. Where do you rank Pena versus Nunes in terms of all-time upsets?
It's a big rematch if she wants it.
Would you say that it's the biggest upset in UFC history, or perhaps not?
We're being invaded or something?
It's been like this all night.
What's going on here? I'm deaf as it is. What's the question again?
Would you say that it's the biggest upset in UFC history?
I don't know. That's That's a really good question, actually. It's up there with Sarah and GSP. It's up there.
Dana, down to your right, if you could. Dana, down to your right. I was curious, when you're watching the second round of Pena and Nunes, and they're in a firefight, and Nunes has never lost a firefight like that. What's going through your head? Are you saying that this is a bad idea for Nunes to be in this? Or what is going through your head?
When they were doing it, I said, she looks like she's getting tired. Thought Amanda looked like she was getting tired. And I haven't talked to her yet either.
And were you surprised by not only the victory, but just how Julianna won? Because I think most people thought if Julianna was going to win, it would have been with her wrestling. That's her bread and butter. She outstruck Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, I think that, well, they were in the pocket there, and they were both throwing. She was definitely landing more, but Julianna's face was getting busted up too. Julianna was taking some punches too. But it doesn't matter how strong you are, how big you are, how hard you hit. At the end of the day, in a 5-round fight, it comes down to who's in better shape. And you know Julianna trained her ass off in this fight. Did Amanda.
Thanks, Dana.
Hey Dana, question for you. With Amanda Nunes losing tonight, does this result change your opinions if you ever want to see a trilogy fight with Valentina Shevchenko?
I wasn't loving that thing anyway going into this fight, so that was never really in my plans.
Lastly, I heard that Michael Chiesa got in some sort of scuffle. Is there any truth to that during that fight?
No, he did not get in a fight. I say this without embarrassing this guy. He had a little bit too much to drink this evening. When she won, he freaked out and tried to jump into the octagon and fell down on his face, cut his eye and busted his eye open, then was arguing with the police that he needed to get into the octagon and be with her, because that's his teammate. They dragged him out, got him outside, and calmed him down in the back, and I went back and talked to him for a minute. We're all good. Good?
Dana, down here to your right.
Yep, go ahead.
How would you assess the 2021, because obviously you've had to navigate the whole COVID situation and whatever. How would you assess 2021 in general?
It was the best year we've ever had. It was the best year we've ever had. We smashed. I mean, we smashed the pay-per-view record. 8 for 8 sellouts. All those shows that had fans. We broke the all-time pay-per-view record this year for most pay-per-view buys, and tonight we smashed it. I mean, we didn't just break the record; we smashed the record tonight. Incredible fights this year. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It was an awesome year, incredible year.
And if you could pick a highlight of the year, what would it be?
Highlight for the year. That's a tough one. I don't know. Right here, right now, I don't know the answer to that. There were so many things that happened. Good stuff. All good stuff this year. No real negativity, no bad shit. We kicked 2020's ass, and then we rolled right into 2021 and did the same. You know? And yeah, it's been awesome. Cool? You guys know me? Thanks for everything this year, you guys. I appreciate it. I hope you guys all have a happy holiday.
Dustin, I know it's still fresh, frustrating, but I guess can you talk about just the emotion that you're feeling at this point?
It sucks, man. You know, worked hard to get back here to fight for another world title, and got choked out again. Yeah, I'm just heartbroken.
I understood. I know you had a lot of respect for him coming in, and you knew the skills that he had, but in there, did anything, his aggression, I don't know, anything surprise you?
His durability, he wasn't crazy strong. Obviously I knew his jiu-jitsu was the best, some of the best. I mean, most submissions in UFC history coming into this fight. That's kind of the reason I didn't go crazy trying to sweep and get up that second round, because I figured, like I said, leading into this, I'd rather lose the round than give him my back and lose the fight trying to scramble back up. But he ended up getting to my back regardless of that. You know, guy's good, man. He's the champ.
Yeah. It's round 3, obviously, you got you back very quickly, I guess. Just surprised and how quick, or?
Yeah, he kind of, I mean, I knew he was going to start trying to creep around with the body lock. I wanted to keep a wizard, but he got around me. I felt like at first he was really high, and I thought he was going to slide off. And then he kind of sunk in and really got his position. And he started kind of a neck crank. I pulled his hands down once, and it's just, his forearm slipped under my chin, and once he tucked it, there wasn't a hand for me to grab to really pull it down. It's just, you know, same thing with Khabib, you know, it's such a small room for error in these kind of fights. I felt good, you know, after the first round sitting on my stool, going into the second, I drinking water and thinking I'm going to be the world champion tonight. You know, it's just such a crazy thing that we do.
I know how much it's meant to you, but I mean, you've seen the fan support that you have. I mean, you've become one of the most beloved fighters in the sport. You put together a heck of a body of work. I mean, as you sit there tonight, I know you're disappointed, but can you be satisfied with where you stand in the sport?
Like I've been saying all week, nothing this whole journey was done in vain. Everything me and my family have is because of fighting. You know, a lot of education in my life is through these kind of moments, learning about myself. You know, it just sucks. I really worked hard, sacrificed a lot, and put myself in a position I thought that I was going to be the world champion. And I knew I was going to either come out here tonight and be the world champion or fail daring greatly, and sometimes, you know, this would happen.
Last thing for me, I know family time is probably what's most important to you now, but do you start letting yourself ponder about the future? I mean, is this just like, let's just keep chasing this 155, or does this maybe just open the door? You know, you've always talked about maybe a little welterweight. Does this say, well, maybe now's the time to do that? What do you think the plan is at this point?
I think there's fights at 55 and welterweight still for me. I just don't even want to think about who or what's next. It's been a crazy year for me, 3 big fights. I just go home with my family. I'm healthy. They're healthy. Like I said, man, I'm not a stranger to this kind of position. You know, nobody wants to be used to losing, but I'm just used of learning. And it is what it is. That's the fight game, you know. Trying not to sit up here at another press conference and cry in front of you guys. But I'm gonna continue to do what I do. Be a father, try to be a beacon of light, keep grinding.
Dustin, can you comment on the body shots? Did Charles wear you down a little bit? You know, you were landing some good strikes in the first round. He seemed to be going to your body a lot. Was that impacting you at all?
He landed one good knee to the right side of my body, but nothing like really that hurt me or took anything out of me.
And then last question for me. You know, you made a lot of money this year. You sold a lot of pay-per-views. Do you consider it a good year given the wins over Conor, the money you made, or does losing tonight ruin the year?
It ruins the dream outcome that I had planned to forever be a world champion after tonight. But whether I was on, you know, no, nothing. The year isn't ruined. It's just an opportunity I had. Opportunity I had is ruined, and it's all right. You know, that's what it is. I'll look in the mirror like a man.
Dustin, immediately after the fight, you showed us your great character again by offering Charles a donation to a charity of his choice. Was that something that you had planned on doing, win or lose, to say to him, or can you just tell us your mindset to do that, moments after the result?
Yeah, I saw a video this week of him showing you know, where he grew up and where his mom cooked dinner for him. I don't know if it was, I think it was an old video. And saw some of the sights of where he grew up and just how little they had. And it came to me this week. I thought I was going to let him know, win, lose, or draw. Talk to him after and let him know that me and the Good Fight Foundation would donate $20,000 to his city in Brazil and put the money to wherever they think it needs to be. Obviously, he knows he's a good guy and he knows where the money will go the furthest, so that's what we're going to do. And like I said, man, continue to try to do good, and that's it. Be a better person every day. For sure.
Dustin, right here. Right here. Obviously, right before your fight, your teammate Amanda Nunes suffers historic upset. I know you were obviously busy in the back. You're getting ready to go, but did that have any effect? Did you have any of that emotion as you were walking out for your own match?
No. I was upset for her while I was warming up. I saw that she lost. I've been doing this a long time, and I knew it was her. Losing had nothing to do with what's about to happen with me. I can separate these things.
Just a quick one. Joe Rogan was making a lot. It looks like he had hooked your glove when you were trying to pull your arm away. It looked like Charles maybe kind of hooked into the glove to pull back, which would have been a legal move.
Whenever I did the front roll?
Like right before.
Second round?
Yeah, when you tried to pull it.
Mike Brown was asking me when we got back to the locker room why I didn't just slide my arm out. I don't know. I don't remember the finger in the gloves, but I was trying to pull my arm out and it felt like it was in there good. But Mike did ask me in the locker room after, why didn't I just pull my arm out? I tried. But I don't know if his fingers were in my glove or not. I didn't feel it, but...
This is obviously not the first time you've been in this position before, right? But just the fact that you've been in this before and then been able to get back here and say that you can do it again, right? You've done this before, you can do it again.
I can do anything I put my mind to. I can fight for another belt. I can go on another streak. I can claw and climb and get back to wherever I want to be. It's just, do I want to? That's the question I have to look in the mirror and answer. Do I want to do it again? Do I want to go down that road? And that answer will come in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. Just need to let this pass and see what's next for me. But if it's in my heart and that's what I want to do, I'll be here again fighting for another belt. Thank you guys.
Julianna, I know it might be difficult to put into words maybe at this moment, but what is the emotion like for you right now?
I'm very, very happy. Very happy.
I know that you've never been short on confidence, right? But I mean, today, you know, getting ready, walking to the cage, I mean, what was the feeling like? Was it still supreme confidence, or were there little moments of that, like, oh man, all this thing that I've been working for, it's finally here?
You know, I've been in this camp for so long, and it's been a tough road to get here. I've been calling for this fight since UFC 200. So for it to finally be here, it's over 5 years in the making. I'm just glad that, you know, it's over and done with, number one. Number two, I was cool, I was calm, I was collected. I was cool as a cucumber, and I definitely think that made for a easy second fight camp, easy fight week, and an easy walkout.
Yeah. Obviously, round one probably didn't go exactly as you drew it up, so I'm just curious kind of what's going through your head as round one's playing out, and I guess what the discussion was on the stool in between rounds.
I mean, I wasn't deterred by any means in round one. I don't know if you've seen some of my past fights. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to get, you know, shooken up and woken up a little bit in order for me to get going and to make those adjustments going into round two. I feel like we're in round two, round three, I'm just warming up. So for me, that was, I was not deterred by any means. In fact, I had her in an arm lock, I think, for a good portion of that first round. And the adjustments from my coach was just like, keep being you, you're doing great. Just keep going out there and just do exactly what you just did. So it was great.
So round two, you start having success, but you take the damage to your eye, obviously. That's kind of causing issues. But at some point, it looked like you just said, we're throwing down, right? Which I don't think any of us thought was the way you were going to win this fight, right? So what's going through your head? And you said, yeah, you know what, I'll just stand and we'll just start throwing bombs at each other.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thinks that I am just only versed on the ground or that I'm just a ground person, but in mixed martial arts, you have to be versed everywhere. And I'm confident on the feet, I'm confident in the clinch, and I'm confident on the ground. Wherever the fight goes, I'm comfortable. It's not that I have one specific specialty. I like to go wherever the fight takes me, and I just kind of let the fight take place however it does naturally.
So you got to the back. Did you know the choke was there? I mean, was it difficult to work in, or did you know, like, oh, I've got it right now?
I saw her leaking from her nose a little bit, and I put the choke on, but I wasn't sure. I didn't realize that she tapped. I remember when I took her down, I thought, man, I wish somebody could tell me how much time I have left in the round, because I didn't know how much time was left. And then after that, the ref picked me up and they threw me in the corner, and I think it was either the commissioner or the ref, and I said, what happened? He said, it's over, you're done, it's congratulations. I was like, oh, gee, I didn't even know.
So is that when the moment the elation sets in, I guess? That's only when you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Amanda's been such a great champion, and she's done a ton for the sport. So for me to be able to take out, you know, arguably the greatest of all time was something and is something that is still sinking in right now.
Nice. Last thing I'll ask, I mean, I think you said going in, like a rematch. You know, Dana was here and said if she wants the rematch, we've got to see what she wants. I mean, do you believe a rematch should be next? Do you want it to be next? And if so, I mean, how soon do you want to fight? How much time do you want to take to enjoy this?
I mean, we could do it next week. I'm free next month. You know, 2 months from now, whenever they want to do it, I'm ready. No, in all fairness, you know, I've been in camp for a year. I really think that my daughter deserves some well-deserved mommy time, a little vacation. After that, definitely, if she wants to do a rematch, we can do a rematch. You know, I've always been a company girl. I've always been whatever they usually, you know, point me in the direction and I'll go there. You point, I shoot. So whatever they want to do, we'll talk about that later. I just want to enjoy the moment right now.
Julianna, congratulations. I saw you dancing when Amanda's walkout music was playing. You were dancing. You were that relaxed that you could dance before the fight. Do you normally do that kind of thing?
I love music. Music is 1000% in my blood. It's something that I love and I enjoy quite a bit. So to know, actually I was expecting her to walk out to a song that I asked Heidi Dean to play for me one time, and she was like, we can't play that song, that's the champ song. I said, no, that's my song. So when tonight, I was expecting her to walk out to my song, and I was going to be singing that song the whole time, but it ended up being a different song, and I was like, oh, well, this is a great beat to shake it to. And so that's what I did, and yeah, I was definitely cool, calm, and collected. I heard the commentator say, she looks nervous. I was like, what are you talking about? I was dancing.
Yeah, no, I saw that. You know, the question, like I said to Dana even before the fight, and I was asking him about your confidence, and I said, if she said, hey, Amanda has this weakness or that weakness as a fighter, you can see it. But like you're saying, she's ducking you, and she had fought the Cyborg and everybody else, all the best of the best of the best. So can you explain like what you saw that made you think she was ducking you, given all of the terrific fighters she fought?
Sure, I would love to tell you guys the story. At UFC 200, when the T-Mobile Arena very first opened up, me and Kat were the first girls on the card, and I beat Kat. When Amanda fought Misha, I sat cage side and I said, I want that fight. When she became champion, she came here and sat before you guys, and you guys asked her, who's next? And she said, I think Julianna Pena. And I'm like, that's great, that's my fight, I want that fight. I called for it at the cage. So I'm expecting to fight Amanda. Well, Ronda Rousey just got knocked out by Holly Holm, and she got to cut the line. And instead of Amanda fighting me, she took a fight with Ronda. And I'm like, that's not fair. But, you know, it's MMA. So she took the fight with Ronda. Somewhere along the line, I got pregnant. I came back from pregnancy. I beat former world champion Ego Montano, and I called for that fight. And against the champ. And it didn't end up happening. Then I fought Jermaine Durandiman, and her camp was over there in Abu Dhabi saying, she is watching very closely, she does not want to fight you. This is the rumor that I'm hearing. And it's from her camp, and so I'm like, I know she doesn't want to fight me. So when I lost to Jermaine Durandiman, she tweeted out, you haven't even made yourself worthy for me, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, man, I had that fight. It was a bad night for me. I turned around, I stayed active, and I got that win against Sarah McMahon. Now, in between beating Sarah McMahon and taking this fight with Amanda, I was offered the Ultimate Fighter to coach alongside Amanda Nunes. And I said, yes, absolutely, I will do that. Well, we got to wait for Amanda. We're waiting for her to do all this. She has a farm. She's going to go back to Brazil to tend to her farm. And we don't know if she's going to do it yet. So I'm like, okay, she's not going to Brazil. I can see her wife is having a fight against Mackenzie Dern. She is not in Brazil. It's not like she's going to go take her baby by herself to Brazil. And so then she said, no, I'm not going to do the Ultimate Fighter. And I'm like, of course you're not. So later on, we have the fight scheduled for August, and she pulled out. Now, back in, I think, May, she said she had COVID, and it was reported Amanda Nunes has COVID. So now, coming August, she has COVID again, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not trying to downplay the COVID thing, but it was just weird timing. And not only that, once again, I hear from a rumor from somebody in their camp. They say, she hasn't even been training. She hasn't even showed up at the gym this entire time. So I remember I ran into Dan Lambert over in Houston, and I said, I know that she hasn't been training. Somebody in your team says she hasn't even been training. He said, no, she has been training. She's been training. And so that next Sunday, that was a Saturday, Sunday morning, I see Amanda posting that she's in the gym and now she's training for the fight. And now we're here in December, and she made it. And honestly, you know, no disrespect, but the whole time I'm thinking, something is going to happen and she's not going to make it. Something's going to happen. She's going to, you know, because she pulled out with Valentina, I think the night of the fight, and she pulled out with me the week of the fight. So I was like, yes, I'm going to show up in December, but if Amanda does show up or not, that's going to be the question, and that's the only thing that I was, you know, worried about.
Let me just ask you one final question, maybe a little bit crazy, but she has 2 belts, right? So now if there is a rematch, you're a big girl, and you know Kayla Harrison's also around. That would be a big money fight if you beat Amanda at 45. Would you consider, under any circumstances, fighting her the second time at 45 so that maybe you would be a champ?
I think that there's some rematches that I want to do. I would like to go down and rematch Valentina Shevchenko. I would love to get that rematch against Jermaine Durandiman. I would love a rematch if that's what she wants against Amanda Nunes. Those are the rematches that I have in my peripheral. And with that being said, you know, right now I just kind of want to soak it all in and enjoy this moment of becoming the champion tonight. Thank you.
Julianna.
Hi.
Congratulations, champ.
Thanks, Sean.
So, just looking back from the beginning to this, I mean, 2014, going on every ligament basically in your knee, and then you have to break in 2018, and just this whole journey, all the ups and downs. Put into words really what this means at this point to show so many people, proved all the down as long as it's really get to this moment.
I mean, for me, I got nothing to prove. You know, I got nothing to prove. Everybody was sleeping on me, and I shook up the world, and then I did what I said that I was going to do. But at the end of the day, I'm not surprised. You know, I know that I have a big, huge will and determination, and I've been saying it all week long. The world is your oyster. You can literally do anything that you want in this life. You have the ability to do anything that you want in this life. I've been through the wash. I have literally been through the wash. I have done it all. I'm talking torn everything that you can possibly think of, ran over by cars, hit by dudes in the alleys. You know, I've done it all. Nothing was going to stop me from getting this belt. This has been 13 years grinding, and it's finally come to fruition, and it's my time.
Did you feel like she underestimated you, that she was taking you lightly this whole week?
I mean, she's said many times that I couldn't make myself worthy as a champion for her, you know. When I was trying to answer my question at the press conference and she cut me off and she was talking about, you know, my best friend and look what I did to her, and, you know, she was just saying all sorts of stuff. And so, I mean, I'm not surprised. I was ready for everything, and I just really want to thank my team and my family, and I wouldn't be here without them.
Last one from me. I mean, kind of the full circle nature of this. Obviously, Misha was your mentor in the beginning. Amanda took the belt from Misha, kept it this whole entire time, and now you take it from Amanda. That whole, just that circle of that. I mean, what does that seem like to you?
It just seems like it was my time. There were so many signs leading up to this moment. There were so many times in my life, not only signs but dreams of myself and dreams of others. And I'm really weirdly into that kind of stuff, a spiritual thing. I have a very strong faith in God, and that is something that kept me strong mentally, physically, and emotionally to get to this point, especially having to go through another fight camp. And I just really think that, you know, it's a surreal moment, but it's absolutely my time, and I'm not surprised. I'm really not.
Julianna,
Thank you.
in the middle over here. Dana was telling us the story about what happened with Michael Chiesa. Just curious if you saw him come try to celebrate with you.
Yes. Mike and me started within 1 week of each other in the gym. And we have been grinding with Rick in Spokane, Washington since we were babes. Literally, I was 19 years old. I started within 1 week of my Chiesa. And we've been grinding for 13 years together. So this is a big moment for me. It's also a big moment for Mike. And I know he was very emotional. I can't speak on anything else that happened. I'm not sure, you know, I was uber focused on what I needed to do. But I love Michael. He knows I love him. And I know he loves me. And this win is just as big for him as it is for me.
You mentioned your love for music. I'm curious what inspired the choice of Psycho by Puddle of Mud.
So I think I've talked to you guys about this a few times, and I hate to bring it up. I used to be superstitious. I'm not superstitious anymore. But one time I walked out to the same song twice, and I lost the second time. So I was like, I can't walk out to the same song twice. So I used to have Dana pick my songs, but then I knew that it was like such a task, you know? So then I just started letting Heidi pick my songs. I don't want to know what the song is. I absolutely don't want to know anything. Just whatever you choose is what you choose. So literally I pretty much walked out to a different song every single time. It's been completely random at the hands of the UFC.
All right, congrats, champ.
Thank you.
Champ here in the back.
Hi.
So when you were in that intense firefight in the second round, and you know the ties going back and forth, you're connecting against her, she's connecting against you. Can you in any way verbalize what's going through your mind in such an intense situation?
No, it's just you're on the horse. Don't get pucked off the horse. You know, we could do this all day. I was comfortable. I was ready. I could see the change in her face, and then I could see my corner. You know, like, all right, we're doing this. So I was very comfortable.
And previously when we were talking to Dana White, he retold the story about when he first met you, when you went up to him and said, I'm going to be fighting for you and I'm going to become a world champion. Could you sort of retell a little bit of that from your perspective and how sort of reality matched what you were thinking back then as a young fighter?
Yeah, so it was about 2013. Dana had recently allowed women to fight inside the UFC, and that they were going to have their very first Ultimate Fighter house. So I came down early to help actually Misha get ready to train for Kazangano. And they were the tryouts for the Ultimate Fighter, and I heard rumor that he was going to be at Syndicate Gym. So I took a taxi, I went to Syndicate, and I saw him in the corner, and I walked right up to him, and I said, my name is Julianna Pena, and I'm going to win the Ultimate Fighter. And he was like, all right. And so, yeah, when I won the Ultimate Fighter, that was great. That's how the first encounter that I ever had with Dana. And, you know, I've been telling him, too. I literally tell him all the time, I want that fight. I want that fight. Give me that fight. And I think maybe subconsciously he was just trying to protect me. Like, no, you don't want that fight. You know, he's trying to be like, trust me, you don't want that fight. But I've been gunning for it this entire time, and he finally gave me the opportunity that I've been asking for. And I'm just internally grateful for him giving me that chance. He gave me my shot, and I'm so happy for that.
And last one for me, then obviously you're a Venezuelan vixen. Have you gotten any chance to sort of, have you heard any word from like your fans in Venezuela, what this means to them?
No, I haven't. I haven't even picked up my phone. I pretty much put my phone in dead zone for like the last week, so I don't even know where my phone's at. But I can tell you that, you know, my dad is here. He's from Venezuela. He's from Machiques. I got family in Maracaibo. I got family in Caracas and the Isla de Merida. And you know, I'm also Mexican. My mom is from New Mexico. She's also Native American. So I'm a mixture of all sorts of warrior blood. And I know that my Venezuelan family is extremely proud and happy for me. Venezuela has been going through a tumultuous time in their government, and if I can give any sort of hope or inspiration, motivation to any of those to stay strong, that's what I would like to do. And if I could be that representative for them, then you know that's an honor, and I wear that very pridefully and humbly.
Sure you can. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Julianna, just one more for you right here. You mentioned the Ultimate Fighter a few times today. You're one of the elite members of the group now who've won a UFC belt and that show. Would you be interested if you guys do a rematch to now coach that in this scenario? I had a potential second fight with Amanda, coach the reality show.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I would love to coach the Ultimate Fighter. It's always been a dream of mine. And yeah, I would love for her to coach alongside me. I got nothing but love and respect for Amanda. I think that she's been a great champion. And coaching the Ultimate Fighter would be another dream come true for me.
And actually, just one more. When you hopped on the cage after winning the belt, you kind of had like a primal moment there where you're screaming out. What was going through your head and your body at that moment?
Well, I've been doing this for 13 years and I've never jumped on the cage before, ever. I've never even got on the cage before. So they were like, get on the cage. It's like, oh, okay, this is my time to get on the cage. And when I got up there, I was like, oh, this is kind of scary. But I was just happy, and you know, in that moment is when it hit me that, you know, you did it. So I was just elated, literally elated. One of the greatest moments of my life.
Just went over here. This is the first time in UFC history that two moms actually fought for a championship. Do you feel like the promotion needs to create a new belt for you, the baddest mom on the planet?
That is such a great point. The UFC absolutely needs to create a new belt for me. It needs to be the baddest mom on the planet. And you know, I'm not trying to take away anything from Amanda. She's a wonderful mother, but I gave birth to my daughter, and I know that, you know, I feel like for giving birth, I am the first mom champ, and that to me is also a little feather in the cap.
Julianna, one in the back. Wanted to ask what it means to you to be taking this belt back to Chicago to be the first world champion under your coaches there.
Man, that's amazing, and I said it a long time ago. I'm taking this belt back to the lake, and I want to dedicate this to all of my team and all of my training partners. I literally have the best team in the world, and to bring it back to the lake and to bring it back to Chi-Town is such a pride for me. It's an honor, and I'm so excited. I also can't wait to take it back to 509, where my roots are from. 509, loyal to the soil. Washington State is where I'm from, and I'll be back there soon as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Julianna, down here. Obviously, Amanda held belts in 2 different weight classes. Would you like to have a rematch at featherweight, or would you like a rematch at bantamweight? Do you have a preference, or?
We can rematch at 135 pounds if she wants to do that, but I mean, whatever the company decides, it would be great to obviously be a two-division champion. Even to go down to 125 and face Valentina down there would be great too. Right now, though, I just want to soak in the moment of becoming the champion tonight and just relish in that for a little while.
But you're saying that you'll do whatever the company want to do, but now you've got some pulling power. You're a champ. You can flex some champ muscles. Why don't you do that?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, and can you ask your question again? I'm so sorry.
I was saying that you've got some pulling power now that you're a champion. You're saying that you'll do whatever the company wants to do, so why don't you just do what JuliannaPeña wants?
That's true. That's very true. Thank you for that. The UFC, I'll do what I want to do. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm willing to work. You know, I'm easy to work with. You know, whatever makes sense. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. And, you know, if it's something that is, you know, good to me and great for me, then of course I'm going to do it.
Just one more quick one for you.
Yes, sir.
When Michael Bisping beat Luke Rockhold, everyone talked about this was this huge upset, and he was like offended by it, being like, I knew I was going to win this fight. It's not an upset in my mind. When people are talking about this now being like one of the biggest upsets in UFC history, does that warm your heart, or does that feel like an insulting thing to you because they're maybe downgrading your skills to a degree?
I definitely think that people have been sleeping on me, and they have not been putting any respect on my name. They haven't been giving me as much credit as I feel like I deserve. You know, whenever the commentators talk about, you know, Amanda Nunes, they'll say everybody else's name but mine. And I mean, they can't even spell my name right. They don't ever put the tilde over the N, you know. So there's little things where I'm like, man, can I get some respect? But with that being said, I wasn't surprised. My coach's eye, Rick Little, is very good. And he told me a long time ago in 2013, when I beat Kat Zingano at UFC 200, you can beat her. And then I sat cage side when she fought Jermaine Duraniman, and I was like, yo, coach, I could beat her. And so for me, I'm not surprised. For everybody else that was sleeping, wake up, and I'm here.